And so it's not going to be on the Chapter 9 test. We're not going to test on it. You just need to know a little bit about it. Okay, so there are two types of variation. Obviously, the one we're going to talk about today is direct. And then tomorrow we're going to look at indirect. And so indirect also is sometimes called inverse variation. So just depending on what term the book uses or how you look it up, you can see it either way. Okay, and each of the two types of variations has an equation. So direct variation, the one that we're going to use today, is y equals k times x. And there's this weird little qualifier that says k cannot be 0. So it's going to be either a positive number or a negative number, and it's going to be plugged in right here. So you're going to have a constant there. So basically a number plugged in, like 2 or -5 or 1/3. Okay? So some number is going to be in there. Indirect variation, which we'll get into more tomorrow, is going to be y equals k over x. And this one, k can't equal 0, but you also have that x in the denominator, so it can't be 0 either. Okay? Those are just the little qualifiers. All right? So you're going to see two types of problems in the book. The first type is just basically going to give you the information in the question, and you plug it in. Okay? You plug it in, you figure out what k is, and then you have to basically do the problem a second time and figure out what x is. Okay? So it's going to tell you that it varies directly. And it's going to give you the values. Y equals 15 when x equals 24. Okay? So you're going to start with the equation for direct variation. So you're going to say y equals k times x, and you're simply going to plug in those two numbers. So 15 goes in for y, and 24 goes in for x. So we're going to have k times 24. So what variable are we going to solve for? Okay, it's the only one left, right? So divide both sides by 24. And you get this fraction. You get 15 over 24. If you want to reduce it, you can reduce it. What is that going to reduce to?
5 over 8.
5 over 8. Okay? Then the problem is going to say something like, find x when y is 25. So this is the second part of the problem. So after you've found k, now you're going to get a y. And the only variable that's going to be left is x. So you're going to write the equation again, y equals k times x. You're going to fill in the k that you just found out, so 5/8. And the y that they tell you, so this time it's 25 instead of 15. And this time, the missing variable is x. So this time you're going to solve for x instead of solving for y. So it feels like you're doing the problem twice. It should feel like you're doing the same thing twice. That's, to me, how it feels. Like you're doing the problem, then you do it again. Okay? All right, so to get x by itself, I'm going to multiply by the inverse. Flip that fraction. 8 over 5. 8 over 5. If it helps, change this to a fraction. I got x equals 40. All right? Is that right? Yeah. 5 goes into 25. 5 times 8 times 5 is 40. Okay. Any questions on example number 1? All right. So this one's kind of easy. They give you the variables, you plug them in. The second kind you're going to see, it's not going to be They're not going to tell you this variable's this and this variable's this. Instead, they're going to tell you that it varies directly, but then they're going to say something like it has an 8 kilogram load, and it's going to talk about this spring or something. And then it's going to say that it stretches 9.6 centimeters. Okay, so that's going to be your y. So whatever they tell you here, this is going to be your y, and this is going to be your x. So we're going to find k. It's you kind of have to read it. Most of them are like 1. It's just kind of weird. Okay, so first, for part A, you want to find the constant, which in this case is k. So you're going to plug in 9.6. Oh, let's start with the equation. Y equals k times x. So we're going to plug in 9.6 for y, and we're going to plug in 8 for x. So it's going to be k times 8. We're going to divide both sides by 8. And I got k equals 1.2. Second part, you're going to take that k and you're going to plug it back in when you have a stretch of 6 centimeters. So the 6 centimeters should go in for y, right? So if we use the same equation, y equals k times x, we just figured out the k was 1.2, and we know the y is 1, so we need to figure out x. So if we take this and divide by 1.2, divide by 1.2, we're going to get x is equal to 5.
If you get the 1, it stretches. Like, hers blank.
Oh, I did it. No, it's 6. Sorry. This should be 6. Sorry. I don't know where I got that one from. I'll blame it on my eye. I'll blame it on my eye. It's 6, because 6 divided by 1.2 is 5. All right? Okay, so you guys are going to do 9 problems. You're going to go to page 354. You're going to do 2 through 18, just do the evens. And this one, I'm going to collect. I don't normally collect because I usually give you that list. And when we get to chapter 9, I'm going to give you a list